business. It's business time. Hang tight, we're gonna get into the business right here in a couple minutes. Baby, baby. It's business. It's business time. All right, we are here with week 42 of It's Business Time. This week we are joined by Dr. J of Stop the Violence Coalition Incorporated and the Academy for Peace. Dr. J, thank you so much for joining the pod. Wonderful to have you here.
It's my pleasure.
You have so many incredible initiatives. You have such a storied past. You have a great small business enrichment program to talk about. I'm so excited to get into this conversation. Before we get rolling, I do always like to give a quick shout out to Stitch House for having us. Stitch House right here on Market Street. They as well are a small business. Always have 12 beers on tap, great food. So if you find yourself in the Market Street area, definitely swing through. But with that, we are running. And again, Dr. J, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure indeed. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's so many things to get into. I want to learn a little bit too about your background and how this kind of became your mission as well. So between the Stop the Violence Coalition and the Academy for Peace, can you tell us a little bit about where that started and kind of the cause? Because I know you're coming up on an anniversary, the 24/7 anniversary. I know you're going to get into a little bit of the events and things like that. And so before you get rolling, I just wanted, this pod is kind of intended to show people how close they are to starting their next thing, to being involved, to getting more involved in their community. And you are just a shining example of that.
No, thank you very much.
Absolutely. So let's kind of jump into it. Where did this initiative begin, this mission begin, and kind of catch us up?
Well, first let me thank you, Aaron, because this is exactly why Stop the Violence Coalition Incorporated is in business. I'll say, although it's a nonprofit. We started after the horrific barbershop shootings in 2001 when little Damon Gist Jr. was shot and killed in the barbershop on Shipley and 4th Street, along with 21-year-old Darnell Evans Jr. Of course, there was a total outcry, not only from the general population, but businesses, large and small, government, schools, everyone needed to participate in what do you do when something like that happens.
Yeah.
Hence, we have Stop the Violence Coalition Incorporated today. We were started with some concerned citizens who said enough is enough. What can we do to provide for families and youth in the area of preventing gun violence?
Yeah.
And so here we are 24 years later.
Unbelievable.
And I'm still vigilant with this cause and mission just as if it were yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we, as you said, are coming up on, actually it was on the 21st of June that we started the Academy for Peace right on Market Street, 203 North Market Street, the Academy for Peace.
Yeah.
And we are so happy to be in that area. It's been outstanding.
Yeah.
We have programs for youth and families. We touch on all areas of trauma-informed information, business information. We help people with small business development, personal planning, you name it. We probably do it at the Academy for Peace.
Yeah. Wow.
So in 2017, we started the Academy for Peace because we realized that we may never stop violence, but we can certainly increase the peace.
Right.
And so we say we pursue peace 24/7.
Yeah.
Around the clock, all day, every day.
Yeah, and I mean, we see it's both in statistics and in our hearts that building your community is one of the
One of
best
the best
ways
ways.
to bridge that gap, to build that network. Because I don't want to turn this podcast into a speculative thing, but a lot of youth-driven violence is for a lack of better things to do, right? For a lack of better opportunities, they're discouraged, and so I love that you've kind of bridged that gap with the Academy for Peace.
And that's exactly what we initiated, a bridge
Yeah.
of all people. We try to meet the needs of families, and that includes marriage. We have a marriage coach and counselor.
Yeah.
We have trauma counselors. We have youth dance programs and music of all kinds.
Wow.
We try to reach out to seniors as well. I go
Yeah.
into the senior centers with our mission, and the mission is always the same: to spread peace
Yeah.
by building bridges of hope and unity.
Yeah. Well, I love for one, the location means a lot to me.
We love
I,
it.
I grew up here on Broome Street.
Really?
Yeah, and so Market Street, this was a big, getting to do something like this on Market Street was a big kind of full
Coming
circle moment.
downtown.
Yeah,
Or
'cause
coming uptown if you lived on the east side,
Yeah, right.
like I did.
Yeah, yeah. It was like straight over. So coming towards the river is what I used to say. But
And that's why I'm here.
yeah,
I wanted to be in the community near the river
yeah, yeah.
and landed right there.
Yeah, and we've had Spaceboard Clothing, shout out there, Huxley and Heroes
Yes.
there, Jason Avilis from Greenbox Kitchen,
Absolutely.
on a great mission as
And
well.
now we have the Mexican restaurant on 2nd and Market.
Yep.
And we just love what's happening in the Loma District. And interesting enough, we do, through the Academy for Peace, most summers, we have a history summer camp.
Okay.
Where we bring the children into the Academy for Peace and we teach them Swedish history, Jewish history, Wilmington history, Delaware history,
Yeah.
African American history, African history, and geography.
Right. Wow.
And so we have a wonderful summer program where we go into the schools with information, but we also bring the kids right there on the river, and they walk all summer long to different locations. Wilmington is a wealth
yeah.
of opportunities for young people, especially when it comes to history.
Yeah.
And I love history. I'm
Yeah.
a historian by choice
Yeah, yeah.
and profession.
Right.
But it has been a wonderful location to develop youth. And believe it or not, some of our youth in the city had never been to that area.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a new I call it the Soho of Wilmington.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I experience that a lot. I'm up in North Wilmington currently, but I'll talk to people about there's Harriet Tubman Park.
Oh,
or something
love
like that,
it.
and they'll be like, "Where's that?" And we're like, in Wilmington.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, where?" On the riverfront. Well, where? And they don't. It's there's so many little gems. Is my point.
Gems,
that
indeed.
people can go. I mean, Nomad's another little shout out to Nomad. Another gem. There's like these little pockets where people are experiencing diversity and peace and joy and true community. And when I run into someone who's lived here their whole lives and isn't aware of them, I get so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, if you already liked Wilmington and you didn't know about these places, now you're going to love it.
And you're absolutely right, because we're right there by the train station, the bus hub.
Yep.
And so people just naturally wander up to 2nd and Market
Yeah.
when they're
yeah.
coming from those transportation centers. And we get to tell people all about the city. So we do double duty.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
only are we the Academy for Peace, but we let people know that this is a wealth of
Yeah.
information in this city
Like,
and
Wilming-
history.
like a Wilmington ambassador.
I
so
am,
to speak.
and I claim
clearly,
that.
yeah. No, I love that.
And enjoy it very much because we not only do all of the youth things, but we have an art show every month, Art
Okay.
Loop. We're on the Art Loop. We call ours the Artist of the Month. So we even invite cultural activities
Yeah.
and artists and those who benefit from our cultural activities.
That's beautiful. So you mentioned a camp, you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
cultural activities. In a few moments here, you're going to talk a little bit about the July 27th
Yes.
block party. So we're going to definitely do a big tag at the end of where people can find everything. But I also, as we go through, is there a really good spot online? Let's say they can't get to Market Street. Is there a website or something I can put up here? So when I point up, that means I'm going to throw a website up on the post.
Well, I'll tell you the best way to hit us
Okay.
is on social media.
Okay.
And you can get me at Jane Eyre Macklin at
I'm pointing to where your name's going to go.
AOL.com. Can you
Okay.
tell I'm old?
Yeah, well, AOL, that is a throwback.
But-
At least it's not Hotmail.
But we have an operations director,
Okay.
and I'll give you her information. But you can just hit us up on the Academy for Peace dot. What is?
I'll make sure
you'll
to get it
figure
up.
it
It'll
out.
either be an
It's
org
on
or
that
an-
paper
a-
you have right
oh,
there.
Oh, well, look at me. I'm gatekeeping information here.
And I'm losing information.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Is it on there?
Gotcha. But yeah, Facebook, the Academy for Peace.
Yes.
So I'll make sure to put that up
Uh-huh.
there, and then I'll get the website. I'll throw
Yeah.
that up.
And it's all
And-
it's all right there.
Yeah.
On the other page that I gave you as well.
Yeah, I love this, and I want to make sure to touch on this too. But let's talk a little bit more about the Academy for Peace and what you guys have coming up, because that's an exciting.
Yeah, it's
event.
exciting.
Yeah.
We're excited to announce this week, as a matter of fact, that on July 27th,
Okay.
we're going to open up Loma
Mm-hmm.
for our 24/7 block party.
Yeah.
Now, what's 24/7?
Yeah.
Well, it's the fact that Stop the Violence Coalition is 24 years old,
Yeah.
/7, which is the Academy for Peace. We've been in that area for
Wow.
7 years.
That's so cool.
We've been all over the city. Let
Yeah.
me tell you, when we first started 24 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
we went into every community center and held our meetings
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah.
Not every month,
Right,
every
every
week,
week.
until we're now here 24 years later. Isn't
Yeah.
that something?
That really is. That really is.
So it's a celebration,
Yeah.
but it's also a remembrance of those who do the work and those we've lost. It's
Yeah.
a celebration of longevity
Yeah.
in doing the work. And, some businesses didn't come through COVID very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But we were still doing the work through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We were still open, able to do some things, of course, within the guidelines of safety.
Yeah.
But we're very blessed to still be doing what we know we must continue to do.
Yeah.
To stop the violence, but most importantly, to promote the peace.
Yeah, and I admire the mission for sure, and it's tough because stopping something that's very, very rough for communities. It's like proving a negative, right? Like you can't keep track of all the things that almost happened but didn't, because people had community centers and people had learning. But of course, when one thing happens, everyone jumps
right
the
on
news
it.
jumps.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about it constantly, and it's Wilmington has had its ups and downs for sure in the last 20 years. I like to think it's on an uptick right now, big time, and it's a large in part because of community organizations like you guys.
Well, thank you so much. And we couldn't do it without other agencies getting on the bandwagon,
Yeah.
doing what we've done. But
Yeah.
most importantly, we're better together.
Yeah, totally.
We're better together. Businesses are better when they have a community focus as well.
Yeah.
Because without the public, there's no need for the business, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I have an interest in making Wilmington, a noted city for
Mm-hmm.
peace.
Yeah.
You can come here, you can enjoy the businesses, you
Mm-hmm.
can enjoy meeting a great community of
Yep.
people.
Yep.
There are needs being met in
Yeah.
our community. Where there's a need, we seek to meet it. And so there's a lot of great things going on
Yeah.
in this city. And I choose it as home, and I love it. And I look forward to it growing better.
So you mentioned a need, right? And I'm holding this, and we were talking a little bit about the just because this is kind of largely a small business podcast.
Yeah.
Let's dive in a little bit, and again we'll circle back to some of the community events. Let's dive in a little bit into what you specifically in your career. So this program, Rich, realizing independence, creativity, and happiness. This is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were describing a little bit of like a small business kind of like, what was it you said, work from
Work, home-based business.
home-based business.
Okay,
Can
let
tell
me
us
tell you a little
about
bit.
it?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm happy to do that.
Save me.
Well, save me as well. But I'm happy to talk about that because in 2011, believe it or not, we were recognized by the SBA, the Small Business Administration of the United States of America,
Yeah, the big one.
as the home-based business champions of the year.
Yeah.
Myself and two other wonderful women
Mm-hmm.
came up with an idea that those who do home-based businesses needed a network.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
we began to put that in motion, and somebody recognized that we were just kind of ad hoc doing that.
Right.
And little did I know, we were recognized, nominated, and ended up winning in Delaware and the region, which
Yeah.
included 8 other states. So
Wow.
we were not only recognized as the winner for Delaware, but for, you name it,
Yeah.
8 other East Coast states.
No, it's an absolutely great overall mission too. And it feels very holistic. Like
It is. What we do with the Rich program, we do financial coaching where I can take a group or an individual and lead them through a 7-point plan that I kind of put together to enhance their opportunities to do budgeting, banking,
Yep.
because there are some people who don't have a budget, that don't use banking services properly, or could benefit from some investing of monies that they make in business,
Yeah.
even
yeah.
in home-based business.
Yeah.
But we also can offer opportunities for people who may have sketchy histories.
Right. Right.
We can engage them in home-based
Yeah.
businesses.
Super important
It's
too
important.
as we're kind of transitioning, and this is a fingers crossed
Exactly.
statement, but transitioning away from this, like, just kind of point a finger, throw people in prison, to now it's, a lot of the things that cause people to go to jail for a long time are now starting. People are relaxing a little bit, allowing them to just live their lives how they want. And to as a society, I feel we owe it to those
Absolutely.
that we messed up their lives. We owe it to them to help them get back into a meaningful place in society.
You're absolutely right, Aaron. And one of the things that I'm happy to report is that program
Yeah.
was in the prison for
Yeah.
8 years.
Gotcha, yeah.
And I'm hoping that they're continuing to do something like
Yeah.
that. But I had the opportunity to be there and actually do the Rich program in the prisons
Oh, wow.
through financial coaching.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's that's one of the most I travel a fair amount. One of the most embarrassing parts of our culture is the prison system, the recidivism. How once people go in, it's hard for them to come back out. It's hard for them to reacclimate to society. And there's other societies like, yeah, I'm I'm going to hate on America just for a minute here, but there's other societies where prisons are places where they can learn, grow, develop skills, and then come back into the marketplace as a better citizen rather than someone who can't get a job, has a chip on their shoulder, can't get, I was just talking to a gentleman 2 weeks ago, and he's trying to get an apartment. He has the job, and he can't get an apartment because he's paying all these processing fees for what do you call application fees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are we in a spot where this man served his time, he now has a job, he's on a path to something good, and he can't get him a place to live without paying. I think he was at like $400 worth of application fees and had been denied for all of them.
And we can help with that.
Yeah.
Because we look at housing. Everything can be looked at through a budget.
Yeah.
How to get it better so that we can do better.
Yeah.
But it's not easy.
Right.
And that's where the Academy for Peace comes in handy, because we can hold the hand of the individual until they are ready to make some financial moves. And it's always, and I don't want to say difficult, it's challenging at best
For sure.
for when someone comes out of the prison system.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible.
Right.
We've watched many of our clients and participants do some wonderful things.
Yeah.
And we're happy to have a part in that. So
Yeah.
we continue to do it.
Yeah.
We continue to
I mean,
do it.
it's needed. It's very, very needed. I'm a strong believer. The reason I said the comment before, I'm a strong believer that you have to recognize what the problems are in order to properly fix them. You can't brush them aside and hope everything's going to get better. And the community focused stuff for me, that I love what you're doing because I've seen it so many times, time and time again. Sometimes people just need that one friend, that one advisor,
Absolutely.
that one opportunity. That's all they need. And if they get that, their life has changed.
Life has changed.
And if they don't get that, it can be 5 steps back before 1 step forward again.
Absolutely. And we see that happening all the time.
Yeah.
Someone can walk out of the bar 1 minute
Right.
and walk into the Academy for Peace.
Right.
And I came from the back of the building, and there sat this gentleman.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, may I help you?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I saw peace on the window."
I love that.
And he had just walked out of the bar
Right.
and said, "I need peace. I just lost my grandfather."
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I said, "Well, let me pray with you."
Yeah,
you know.
wow.
And so that's what community is all about
Yeah,
for me, just
absolutely.
being there. And so Rich is just a part of our community
Gotcha.
focus and emphasis on the total community.
Yeah.
And it's not a one-person job. I can't say, it's Dr. J. No,
Right.
it takes a
Right.
community.
Right.
It takes the city, from the government to the churches, to the bars, to people
Yeah.
who need people coming together.
Well, I'm definitely sold. If anything, I'm a little bit ashamed it took me this long to get you on the podcast, because as much as this is about small business, it really is about community building. Because whether you're starting a business, you're getting your life back on track, you're grieving a loved one.
Absolutely.
I mean, having people around you, having a network to lift you up is so, so valuable. And it's one of those lessons, too, where it's almost like you don't know until you know.
You don't know until you know, but what I tell my friends and family and clients, do what you know to do until you know what to do.
Yeah, there you go.
Isn't that something?
I love that.
And so we are happy to be at 2nd and Market in
Yep.
Loma in
Yep.
the business district. We're the only nonprofit in that area.
Yeah.
And it's just a real honor and a privilege to support the very fabric of Wilmington.
Yeah, goodness. Well, I can tell you have a wealth of knowledge. I try and keep these a little digestible, around like 20, 25 minutes. Even that in a world where everyone's looking at things that are 20 seconds long.
Yeah, yeah.
But it has been so awesome to have you on. Before you go, I just want to make sure to do a proper, so the Academy for Peace, right here on 2nd and Market Street.
203 North Market Street, right across the street from Al's Sporting Goods store.
All right,
And
perfect.
it is a wonderful block, Loma, between 3rd and 2nd, or 2nd and 3rd, depending on how you're coming down the street.
Right.
So on July 27th,
July
you can
27th.
come any way you want to,
Yep.
but make it to the block
I like
of
that.
2nd and 3rd on Market.
So the block party is July 27th. I have a question for
Mm-hmm.
you. Do you call the train station the top of Market or the bottom of Market? Or like, do you call Loma the top of Market or the bottom of Market?
Well, let me tell you what Loma stands for.
Lower Market.
Lower Market.
Okay, so you
So
say
it's
the
the
bottom. All
lower.
right. 'Cause I-
It's like Soho.
yeah. I grew up calling it the top because for some reason I just always like pictured like coming in from the train station, that's the front. But then once I started thinking about like the angle of the road, anyway, I'm off on a
Well,
tangent.
no. But historically,
Yeah.
you can call it the top
Okay.
because all of the shipping was
Right.
right there at the foot of Market Street.
Yeah, because it felt like it started there and ended up at the city.
Exactly.
So that was the top. and
Well,
then
you're
the-
right.
Yeah. Okay.
You're right. So it depends on your perspective,
Yeah, maybe
your
maybe,
historical perspective.
maybe I picked that up from my dad because he grew up here in Wilmington. He actually has stories when he was 6, 7, and
Really?
8, buying oysters.
What was the name of his business?
My dad's name was Jerry Poole,
Oh, okay.
and he had a clothing shop. I can't remember the name at this point, but and then he had
Okay.
a financial advisory place
Wow.
right here on West 9th called Curry Pool Group.
Isn't that
But
something?
I guarantee you saw him in a coffee shop or
I'm
somewhere
sure
at some point.
when-
'Cause, yeah,
Mr. Poole, I'm sure I've met him somewhere.
yeah. Probably the most notable one is he used to do there was a charity or fundraiser for the church here on 52 in Broome where they'd sell lobsters and Christmas trees to raise money for the charity.
I used to buy my lobster from that church every Christmas.
Every
No
Christmas.
wonder it was familiar.
That's so funny.
And I used to get my wreaths there.
Yeah.
See,
Okay, you
it's
do
so
remember.
Delaware.
It's very
It's so
Delaware.
Wilmington.
I was one of the kids holding the wreaths up to the traffic.
And I was one of
little
those
me.
going up Broome Street because I lived in that neighborhood.
Yeah, wow. It is a
Isn't that
small world. That's so
something?
cool.
Yes, I used to get my lobster every year. That was my treat to myself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it was fresh, drove straight
Fresh
down from Maine.
Maine
Yeah.
lobster. See, now we're talking.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. You know, and I can tell you how fresh there's a whole story. I'll tell you when we're done, when we wrap here. But they would load it all up in the morning, Friday morning, drive straight down, sell it Friday afternoon. So it's
Absolutely.
as fresh as you can get
Fresh as you could get. And I enjoyed every morsel. That was my
That's awesome.
Christmas.
Well, this is a little Easter egg for those who have listened this far, but I may or may not be reviving that tradition here. I'm trying to get all the pieces in order because, things have changed. My dad and his friend were the one who started it, and my dad passed 2 years ago, and his friend is probably not in the space to be driving a whole truck of
gotcha.
lobsters down anymore. But he's got 2 sons, so maybe I could work
Wow.
something out with them.
Isn't that something?
But community,
Small,
right?
small world.
It really is.
Wow.
Wow. Well, Dr. J, it has been a pleasure to have you on.
It has been my pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. In post, I'm going to make sure to put everything up where people can find Academy for Peace, the Stop the Violence Coalition Incorporated, and all the missions you guys have. And then, of course, too, they're right here on Market Street. So anytime you want to visit them, pop on down.
Please do, because we have art fresh every month.
Yeah.
So you can come in, look at art, buy art, and help an artist.
Yeah.
So there's always something going on at the
love
Academy
it.
for Peace to benefit the community.
Nice. Well, it It was so wonderful to have you. I'm so excited to stay in touch and see all the other things you have going on. And I will be there on July 27th,
Yay!
Lower Market Street. Thank you so much
It's
for
my
joining
pleasure.
the pod,
Again,
for sure.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Poole.
Dr. J. All right, that does it for week 42 of It's Business Time. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We will see you next